She walked into court ready to end her marriage alone, heartbroken, and sure no one would notice her pain. But right as the judge was about to speak, her world spun, her knees gave out, and she collapsed in front of everyone. Next thing she knew, she was waking up in a hospital bed, confused, dizzy, and then she heard a voice, a man whispering softly, "My sweetheart, I'm here now." But it wasn't her husband. It was a man she hadn't seen in years, a billionaire she once knew, and what happened next will leave you speechless. Hey there. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I don't take your time for granted, and I'm truly grateful to have you here with me. If you love powerful, emotional stories filled with real heart, twists, and moments that stay with you long after, you're in the right place. Before we dive deep into this incredible story, don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying these stories. Subscribe for more emotional journeys just like this, and share this video with someone who loves a good twist of fate. There's more where this came from, so stick around. Let's get into it. The courthouse steps were slippery from the morning rain, but that wasn't why Jasmine's legs gave out beneath her. She stood there clutching the final divorce papers in her trembling hands, watching her ex-husband Ryan walk away with his lawyer and his new girlfriend. The woman was everything. Jasmine wasn't blonde, young, and wearing a designer dress that probably cost more than Jasmine's monthly rent. Ryan didn't even look back. "Ma'am, are you all right?" The voice seemed to come from somewhere far away, even though the man was kneeling right beside her on the cold concrete. Jasmine tried to focus on his face, but black spots danced in her vision. She could hear people gathering around, their voices mixing together like noise from a broken radio. I can't breathe," she gasped, her chest feeling tight and heavy. The papers scattered around her in the wind, and she watched them blow away like pieces of her broken life. 5 years of marriage gone, her house gone, her savings gone, even her dog was gone. Ryan had kept everything. The man beside her had kind eyes and was talking to someone on his phone. "Yes, we need an ambulance at the courthouse on 5th Street. A woman has collapsed." His voice was calm and steady, nothing like the chaos spinning in Jasmine's head. She tried to sit up, but her body wouldn't cooperate. "Please don't leave me," she whispered, not even sure why she was asking this stranger to stay. Maybe it was because Ryan had left her so easily, or maybe it was because she couldn't bear to be alone right now. The man's hand found hers warm and reassuring. "I'm not going anywhere," he said softly. "My name is Trevor. What's yours?" "Jasmine," she managed to say before everything went dark. When she woke up, she was in a hospital bed with bright lights overhead and the steady beep of machines around her. Her head felt fuzzy and her mouth was dry. A nurse was checking her for line, and in the corner of the room, she saw the man from the courthouse, Trevor, sitting in a chair with a cup of coffee. "How are you feeling?" the nurse asked, shining a small flashlight in Jasmine's eyes. "Like I got hit by a truck," Jasmine replied honestly. Her voice was, and she could barely remember what had happened. "Why am I here?" "You had a panic attack and fainted," the nurse explained. "Your blood pressure was dangerously low, and you were dehydrated. The doctor wants to keep you overnight for observation." Jasmine's heart sank even lower. Hospital bills were the last thing she could afford right now. She had no job, no savings, and no insurance. The divorce had taken everything from her, and now this stranger had probably saved her life, and she couldn't even pay him back. Trevor stood up and walked over to her bed. "I hope you don't mind that I stayed. I wanted to make sure you were okay." "You didn't have to do that," Jasmine said, feeling tears start to form in her eyes. "I don't even know you." "Sometimes strangers are the best people to help us," Trevor said with a gentle smile. "Besides, I couldn't just leave you there alone on those steps. That wouldn't have been right." Jasmine studied his face more carefully now that she was awake. He looked to be in his early 30s with dark hair and warm brown eyes. He was wearing an expensive suit, but it was wrinkled now from sitting in the hospital chair. There was something about him that made her feel safe, even though they had just met. "Thank you," she said quietly. "I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't been there." "Don't mention it," Trevor replied. "Can I ask what happened? You seemed pretty upset at the courthouse." Jasmine closed her eyes and took a deep breath. "I just got divorced." It was finalized today, and I lost everything. My house, my savings, even my dog. I guess it all just hit me at once. Trevor's expression softened with understanding. I'm sorry. That must be incredibly difficult. It is, Jasmine admitted. I don't even know where I'm going to live now. My ex-husband kept the house, and I can't afford an apartment on my own. I lost my job last month, and now I have medical bills to worry about, too. What kind of work do you do? Trevor asked, sitting back down in the chair beside her bed. I used to work in marketing for a small company, but they had to let me go because of budget cuts. I've been looking for something new, but it's been hard. Nobody wants to hire someone who's going through a divorce. Trevor nodded thoughtfully. I might be able to help with that. I own a marketing firm downtown. We're actually looking for someone with experience right now. Jasmine's eyes widened. Really? You consider hiring me? I'd be happy to talk to you about it when you're feeling better, Trevor said. But first, you need to focus on getting well. Do you have somewhere to stay tonight when they release you? Jasmine's face flushed with embarrassment. I was going to try to find a cheap motel somewhere. I have a little bit of money left, but not much. That's not happening. Trevor said firmly. I have a guest room at my house. You can stay there until you get back on your feet. I can't accept that, Jasmine protested. You've already done too much for me. I don't want to be a burden. You're not a burden, Trevor said. And I'm not taking no for an answer. Everyone needs help sometimes. And right now you need help. Let me be the one to give it to you. Jasmine felt tears rolling down her cheeks. It had been so long since someone had shown her kindness without expecting something in return. Ryan had always made her feel like she owed him something, like she was never good enough. But this stranger was offering to help her with no strings attached. Why are you doing this? She asked through her tears. Trevor was quiet for a moment, looking out the window at the city lights. Because I know what it's like to lose everything, he said finally. I know what it's like to feel like you're completely alone in the world, and I know how much it can mean when someone reaches out to help you. What happened to you? Jasmine asked softly. That's a story for another day, Trevor said with a sad smile. Right now, let's focus on getting you better. The doctor said you should be able to go home tomorrow morning if your blood pressure stays stable. I don't know how to thank you, Jasmine said. You don't need to thank me, Trevor replied. Just promise me you'll accept my help. Promise me you won't try to handle this all on your own. Jasmine looked into his eyes and saw something there that made her feel hopeful for the first time in months. Maybe losing everything wasn't the end of her story. Maybe it was just the beginning of something new. I promise, she said. Trevor smiled, and for the first time since walking out of that courthouse, Jasmine felt like maybe everything was going to be okay. The next morning, Jasmine woke up to the sound of rain pattering against the hospital window. Her head was clearer now, and the events of the previous day came flooding back. The divorce papers, the collapse on the courthouse steps, and Trevor, the stranger who had stayed with her through the night. She looked around the room and saw him sleeping in the chair beside her bed, his suit jacket draped over his shoulders like a blanket. He had stayed all night, even though he barely knew her. Jasmine couldn't remember the last time someone had cared about her well-being this much. Good morning, the nurse said as she came in to check Jasmine's vitals. How are you feeling today? Much better, Jasmine replied, though her voice was still quiet. She didn't want to wake Trevor. That's good to hear. Your blood pressure is back to normal, and the doctor says you can go home this morning. Just make sure you take it easy for the next few days, and drink plenty of water. Trevor stirred in his chair and opened his eyes. Morning, he said with a sleepy smile. How are you feeling? Like a new person, Jasmine said, and she meant it. The crushing weight on her chest was gone, replaced by something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. I'm glad to hear that, Trevor said, stretching his arms. I brought you some clothes from the store downstairs. I hope they fit okay. Jasmine looked at the bag he was holding and felt her eyes fill with tears again. You bought me clothes? Just some basics? Trevor said, looking a little embarrassed. I figured you might not want to wear that dress from yesterday. Jasmine looked down at the wrinkled dress she had worn to court, the one she thought would be the last outfit she'd wear as a married woman. Now it just felt like a costume from a place she never wanted to be in. "Thank you," she said. "I'll pay you back as soon as I can." "Don't worry about that," Trevor said. "Are you ready to get out of here?" An hour later, they were walking out of the hospital together. Trevor's car was a nice sedan, but it wasn't flashy or expensive looking. He opened the passenger door for her, and Jasmine slid into the leather seat with a sigh of relief. "Where to?" Trevor asked as he started the engine. "I guess we should go get my things from the motel," Jasmine said. "I checked in yesterday morning before the court hearing." "What motel?" Trevor asked. "The Budget Inn on Maple Street," Jasmine said, feeling embarrassed again. "It's not much, but it's all I could afford." Trevor frowned. "You stayed at the Budget Inn?" "That place is terrible. The health department shut it down twice last year." "I know," Jasmine said quietly, "but it was only $30 a night." Trevor shook his head. "Well, you're not going back there. Let's get your things and head to my place." As they drove through the city, Jasmine watched the buildings go by and tried to process everything that had happened. 24 hours ago, she was married, homeless, and hopeless. Now, she was sitting in a stranger's car, about to stay in his house with the possibility of a job. Felt like a dream. "Can I ask you something?" Jasmine said as they stopped at a red light. "Of course. Why are you really doing this? I mean, you don't know me at all. For all you know, I could be dangerous or crazy or something." Trevor laughed. "Are you dangerous or crazy?" "No," Jasmine said with a small smile. "But you didn't know that when you decided to help me. Sometimes you have to trust your instincts," Trevor said. "And my instincts tell me you're a good person who's going through a hard time. We all need help sometimes." "Have you ever needed help like this?" Jasmine asked. Trevor was quiet for a moment. "Yeah," he said, "finally I have. About 3 years ago, I lost my wife in a car accident. She was everything to me. And when she died, I fell apart. I couldn't work, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. I was about to lose my business in my house when my neighbor started bringing me food and checking on me every day. She basically saved my life." Jasmine felt her heart break a little for him. "I'm so sorry." "Thank you," Trevor said. "The point is, I know what it's like to need someone to catch you when you fall, and I know how much it means when someone does." They pulled up to the Budget Inn, and Jasmine cringed at how run down it looked in the daylight. The parking lot was full of potholes, and half the letters on the sign were burned out. She couldn't believe she had actually been planning to stay there. "I'll just be a minute," she said, getting out of the car. "I'll come with you," Trevor said. "This place doesn't look safe." Jasmine's room was on the second floor, and she was grateful Trevor was with her as they climbed the rusty stairs. The hallway smelled like cigarettes and cleaning chemicals, and she could hear arguing coming from one of the rooms. Her room was small and dingy with a bed that sagged in the middle and a bathroom that she hadn't even wanted to use. All of her belongings fit in 2 suitcases and a duffel bag, everything she had left after the divorce. "Is this everything?" Trevor asked, looking around the room. "This is it," Jasmine said, trying to keep her voice steady. 5 years of marriage, and this is what I have to show for it." Trevor picked up the 2 suitcases. Sometimes starting over with less is better than staying stuck with more. As they loaded her things into his car, Jasmine felt like she was closing one chapter of her life and opening another. The budget and represented the lowest point she had ever reached, and she was grateful she would never have to go back there. "Ready?" Trevor asked as they got back in the car. "Ready," Jasmine said, and for the first time in months, she actually meant it. Trevor's house was in a quiet neighborhood about 20 minutes from downtown. It was a beautiful 2-story home with a big front yard and a garden that looked like it had been well maintained. As they pulled into the driveway, Jasmine felt a mixture of gratitude and nervousness. "This is lovely," she said as they got out of the car. "Thank you," Trevor said. "Sarah, my wife, she loved the garden. I've been trying to keep it up the way she would have wanted." He led her up to the front door and unlocked it. The inside of the house was warm and comfortable, with hardwood floors and family photos on the walls. Jasmine could see pictures of Trevor with a beautiful woman who must have been his wife. They looked happy together. "The guest room is upstairs," Trevor said, leading her up a carpeted staircase. "It has its own bathroom, And there's a desk if you want to work on job applications or anything like that. The guest room was bigger than the entire motel room she had been staying in. It had a queen-size bed with a soft-looking comforter, a dresser, and a large window that looked out over the garden. It was clean and bright and welcoming. "I can't believe you're letting me stay here," Jasmine said, setting her bags down on the bed. "I'm glad you're here," Trevor said. "The house has been too quiet since Sarah died. It'll be nice to have someone around again." "What was she like?" Jasmine asked, looking at a photo of Sarah on the nightstand. "She was wonderful," Trevor said with a sad smile. "She was a teacher, and she loved her students more than anything. She always said she wanted to make a difference in the world, and she did every day. She sounded amazing. She was Trevor said she would have liked you. I think she always said the best people are the ones who've been through hard times but still choose to be kind." Jasmine felt tears in her eyes again. "I hope I can live up to that." "You already are," Trevor said. "Now, why don't you get settled in? I'll make us some lunch, and then we can talk about that job if you're interested." As Trevor left her alone in the room, Jasmine sat on the bed and looked around at her new surroundings. It was hard to believe that just 24 hours ago, she had been at the lowest point of her life. Now she was in a beautiful house with a kind man who was offering her a job and a fresh start. She unpacked her few belongings and put them in the dresser. It didn't take long. Everything she owned fit in just 2 drawers. But as she looked around the room again, she realized that sometimes having less meant having more room for new things to come into your life. Maybe losing everything in the divorce hadn't been the end of her story after all. Maybe it had just been making room for something better. Over lunch, Trevor and Jasmine sat at his kitchen table while he explained more about his business. His marketing firm, Sterling Communications, had been growing steadily over the past few years, and they were looking for someone with experience in social media and digital marketing. "What kind of companies do you work with?" Jasmine asked, taking a bite of the sandwich Trevor had made for her. It was simple turkey and cheese, but it tasted better than anything she had eaten in weeks. "All kinds," Trevor said. "We have a few restaurants, some retail stores, a couple law firms, and a small tech company. The variety keeps things interesting." "That sounds perfect," Jasmine said. "At my old job, I worked with similar clients. I love the challenge of figuring out how to market different types of businesses." Trevor nodded. "That's exactly what we need. Someone who can think creatively and adapt to different industries. Can you tell me about some of the campaigns you worked on?" Jasmine found herself getting excited as she talked about her previous work. She had helped a local restaurant increase their online orders by 300% through targeted social media campaigns. She had worked with Small Boutique to create an influencer marketing program that doubled their sales. She had even helped a law firm improve their online reputation after some negative reviews. "Those are impressive results," Trevor said. "How did you manage to get such good outcomes?" "I think it's because I really care about the businesses I work with," Jasmine explained. "I don't just see them as clients. I see them as people with dreams and goals. I want to help them succeed." "That's exactly the kind of attitude we need," Trevor said. "Most marketing agencies just want to sell services. We want to build relationships." As they talked, Jasmine felt more confident than she had in months. Trevor asked thoughtful questions about her experience and seemed genuinely interested in her ideas. It was such a contrast to the way Ryan had always dismissed her career as just a job. "I have to ask," Jasmine said, "are you offering me this job because you feel sorry for me or because you actually think I can do it?" Trevor sat down his sandwich and looked at her seriously. "I'm offering you this job because I think you're talented and dedicated. The fact that you need help right now is just a bonus. It means I can afford to hire you." "What do you mean?" "I mean that most people with your experience and results will be working for big agencies in New York or Los Angeles, making twice what I can offer. But right now, you need a job and I need someone good. It works out for both of us." Jasmine felt a mixture of relief and excitement. "So what would the job involve?" "You'd be working directly with me and our other account manager, Lisa. You'd have your own clients to manage, and you'd help with strategy for our bigger accounts. The starting salary is $45,000 a year, plus bonuses based on client results." Jasmine's eyes widened. That was more than she had made at her previous job, and it would be enough for her to get her own apartment and start rebuilding her life. "When would I start?" she asked. "How about Monday?" Trevor said with a smile. "That gives you the weekend to rest and get settled in." "I can't believe this is happening," Jasmine said, feeling tears of joy in her eyes. "Yesterday, I thought my life was over, and now I have a job and a place to stay. I don't know how to thank you." "You can thank me by doing great work," Trevor said, "and by not giving up on yourself. I can tell you're a fighter, Jasmine. You just need to remember that about yourself." That afternoon, Trevor gave her a tour of his office building downtown. Sterling Communications occupied the entire third floor of a renovated brick building with big windows that looked out over the city. The office was modern and bright, with an open floor plan that encouraged collaboration. "This is Lisa," Trevor said, introducing Jasmine to a woman in her 40s with short red hair and a warm smile. "She's our senior account manager and basically keeps this place running." "It's nice to meet you," Lisa said, shaking Jasmine's hand. "Trevor told me you might be joining us. We could really use the help." "I'm excited about the opportunity," Jasmine said. "Lisa handles our biggest accounts," Trevor explained. "She's been with me since I started the company 5 years ago." Trevor's being modest. Lisa said he built this company from nothing after his wife died. It was his way of channeling his grief into something positive. Jasmine looked at Trevor with new respect. She had thought he was just a successful businessman, but now she realized he was someone who had rebuilt his life after losing everything that mattered to him. "I'd love to hear more about the company history," Jasmine said. "Maybe over coffee sometime," Lisa said. "But right now, I need to get back to a client call." "I'm looking forward to working with you, Jasmine." As Lisa walked away, Trevor showed Jasmine around the rest of the office. There was a conference room with a big table for client meetings, a kitchen area with a coffee machine and refrigerator, and several individual offices for private calls. "This would be your office," Trevor said, opening the door to a small room with a desk, computer, and window overlooking the street. "It's not huge, but it's private, and you can decorate it however you want." Jasmine stood in the doorway and tried to imagine herself working there. It was hard to believe that just 2 days ago, she had been unemployed and sleeping in a terrible motel. Now she was looking at her own office in a successful company. "It's perfect," she said. "I'm glad you think so," Trevor said. "Do you have any questions about the job or the company?" "Just one," Jasmine said. "Why are you being so kind to me?" "I mean, I'm grateful, but I keep waiting for the catch." Trevor leaned against the doorframe and considered her question. "There's no catch," he said finally. "I guess I see something in you that reminds me of myself after Sarah died. You're hurt, but you're not broken. You're down, but you're not out. And sometimes all people need is someone to believe in them." "Did someone believe in you?" Jasmine asked. "Yeah," Trevor said softly. "Sarah did. Even after she was gone, I could hear her voice telling me not to give up. She always said that our job in life is to help other people find their way. She sounds like she was a very wise woman." "She was," Trevor said, "and I think she would be happy to know that I'm helping you find your way." As they walked back to the car, Jasmine felt like she was walking into a new life. The streets looked different now, brighter somehow, full of possibility instead of despair. She had a job, a place to stay, and most importantly, she had hope. "There's one more thing," Trevor said as they got in the car. "I want you to know that my offer of help doesn't come with any strings attached. I'm not expecting anything from you except good work and honesty. You don't owe me anything beyond that." "I understand," Jasmine said, though she wasn't sure she did. She had been married to a man who always kept score, who always made her feel like she owed him something. Trevor's kindness felt almost too good to be true. "I mean it," Trevor said as if he could read her thoughts. "I've been where you are, and I know how it feels to wonder if someone is helping you because they want something in return. I'm helping you because it's the right thing to do and because I can. That's all." As they drove back to his house, Jasmine looked out the window at the city passing by. For the first time in months, she felt like she belonged somewhere. She had a job to look forward to, a comfortable place to sleep, and a friend who believed in her. It wasn't the life she had planned, but Maybe it was a life she was meant to have. Monday morning came faster than Jasmine expected. She woke up early in Trevor's guest room, nervous, but excited about her first day at Sterling Communications. She had spent the weekend resting and preparing, going through her old portfolio and researching the company's current clients. Trevor had left a note on the kitchen counter. Good luck today. There's coffee in the pot and bagels in the fridge. You're going to do great. Jasmine smiled as she read it. It had been so long since someone had wished her luck or shown confidence in her abilities. Ryan had always been critical of her work, making her feel like she was never good enough. Trevor's simple note of encouragement meant more to her than he probably realized. She arrived at the office 15 minutes early, wanted to make a good first impression. Lisa was already there, typing away at her computer with a cup of coffee beside her. Good morning, Lisa said with a smile. Ready for your first day? I think so, Jasmine said, smoothing down her skirt. She had worn her best professional outfit, a black skirt and white blouse that she had bought for job interviews. You look great, Lisa said. Trevor's running a little late, but I can get you started with the basics. Lisa spent the first hour showing Jasmine how to use the company's project management software and introducing her to the filing system. Everything was well organized and easy to understand, which made Jasmine feel more confident. We believe in keeping things simple, Lisa explained. The more complicated you make things, the more likely you are to make mistakes. When Trevor arrived, he looked apologetic, but pleased to see Jasmine settling in. Sorry I'm late, he said. I had to deal with a crisis at one of our restaurant clients. Their head chef quit over the weekend, and they needed help with damage control. What kind of damage control? Jasmine asked. Social media management mostly. Trevor said, when something like this happens, people start talking online. We need to get ahead of the story and control the narrative. That makes sense. Jasmine said, have you tried reaching out to food bloggers and local media to focus on the positive aspects of the restaurant? Trevor paused and looked at her with interest. What do you mean? Well, instead of just trying to minimize the negative story about the chef leaving, you could create a positive story about the restaurant's commitment to finding new talent. Maybe partner with a culinary school to host a competition for aspiring chefs, or feature the sous chef who's stepping up to fill the role. Lisa looked impressed. That's actually a really good idea. It is. Trevor agreed. Would you be interested in working on that campaign? I know it's your first day, but you seem to have a good grasp of the situation. Jasmine felt a flutter of excitement. I'd love to. Great, Trevor said. Lisa, can you fill Jasmine in on the restaurant account? I think she might be exactly what we need for this situation. The rest of the morning flew by. As Jasmine dove into the restaurant campaign, she researched the business, looked at their social media presence, and started brainstorming ideas for positive publicity. It felt good to be using her skills again, to be working on something that mattered. How's it going? Trevor asked, stopping by her office around lunchtime. Really well, Jasmine said, showing him the note she had made. I think I have a solid strategy for turning the situation around. Trevor looked over her work and nodded approvingly. This is excellent. You've only been here for 4 hours, and you already have a better handle on this than I did. I'm just glad I can help, Jasmine said. It feels good to be working again. Would you like to grab lunch? Trevor asked. There's a good sandwich place down the street, and we could talk about the campaign. That sounds great, Jasmine said. As they walked to the restaurant, Jasmine felt more relaxed than she had in months. The work was challenging but manageable. Her coworkers were friendly, and Trevor was turning out to be not just a kind boss, but a good friend. Can I ask you something? Jasmine said as they sat down with their sandwiches. Of course. What made you want to start your own business? I mean, it must have been scary, especially after losing your wife. Trevor was quiet for a moment, considering his answer. It was terrifying, he said finally, but I needed something to focus on besides my grief. Sarah always said I was good at helping people solve problems, and marketing is really just problem solving on a larger scale. What kind of problems did you help people solve before? Jasmine asked. I used to work for a big consulting firm. Trevor said, I help companies figure out how to be more efficient, how to cut costs, how to improve their operations, but it was all about numbers and spreadsheets. I wanted to do something more personal, more human. And marketing is more human the way we do it. Yes, Trevor said, we're not just trying to sell products. We're trying to help businesses connect with their communities, build relationships, solve real problems for real people. Jasmine nodded. That's what I loved about my old job, too. When I helped that restaurant increase their online orders, I wasn't just helping them make more money. I was helping them stay in business and keep their employees working. Exactly, Trevor said. That's why I knew you'd fit in here. You understand that business isn't just about profit. It's about people. As they walked back to the office, Jasmine felt like she was starting to understand Trevor better. He wasn't just a successful businessman. He was someone who genuinely cared about making a difference. It was refreshing to work for someone whose values aligned with her own. The afternoon was just as productive as the morning. Jasmine worked on the restaurant campaign, collaborated with Lisa on a social media strategy for a retail client, and attended her first team meeting. By the time 5 o'clock rolled around, she felt like she had already made a real contribution to the company. How was your first day? Trevor asked as they prepared to leave. It was wonderful, Jasmine said, and she meant it. I feel like I'm actually making a difference here. You are, Trevor said. That restaurant campaign you put together today is going to save our clients' business. They were ready to close their doors before you came up with that strategy. Really? Jasmine asked, feeling a surge of pride. Really? Trevor confirmed. You're going to do great things here, Jasmine. I can already tell. As they drove home together, Jasmine reflected on how much her life had changed in just 1 week. She had gone from being unemployed and homeless to having a job she loved and a comfortable place to live. More importantly, she had found someone who believed in her abilities and encouraged her to succeed. Thank you, she said as Trevor pulled into his driveway. For what? He asked. For giving me a chance when no one else would? Jasmine said, for believing in me when I didn't believe in myself. For showing me that there are still good people in the world. Trevor smiled. You don't need to thank me for that. You earned this opportunity. Jasmine, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time to offer it to you. Still, Jasmine said, I'll never forget what you've done for me. Just promise me you'll keep believing in yourself. Trevor said, you're stronger than you know. As they went inside, Jasmine felt like she was truly home for the first time in months. Not just because she had a roof over her head, but because she had found someone who saw her potential and was willing to help her achieve it. That night, as she lay in bed in the comfortable guest room, Jasmine thought about how different her life looked now compared to a week ago. She had a job she was excited about, a boss who respected her, and a future that looked bright with possibility. For the first time since her marriage started falling apart, she felt like herself again, strong, capable, and ready to take on whatever came next. 3 weeks into her new job, Jasmine had settled into a comfortable routine. She woke up each morning feeling excited about the day ahead, worked on challenging projects that utilized her skills, and came home to a house that felt more like home every day. Trevor had been nothing but supportive and professional, but Jasmine had started to notice little things about him that made her heart skip a beat. The way he smiled when he was proud of her work, the way he always made sure she had eaten lunch, the way he listened to her ideas with genuine interest and respect. You're doing incredible work, Lisa said one Thursday afternoon, stopping by Jasmine's office. That restaurant campaign you created last month. Their sales are up 40% from last year. Really? Jasmine asked, feeling a warm glow of satisfaction. Really? And Trevor's been bragging about you to everyone. He told the whole board meeting yesterday that hiring you was the best decision he's made since starting the company. Jasmine felt her cheeks flush with pleasure. He said that he did. Lisa confirmed. And between you and me, I think it's about time someone made him smile again. He's been so serious since Sarah died, but lately he seems lighter somehow. After Lisa left, Jasmine tried to focus on her work, but her mind kept drifting to Trevor. She had noticed a change in him, too. He laughed more easily now, seemed more relaxed, and had started staying late at the office just to chat with her about their projects. Are you ready to go? Trevor asked, appearing in her doorway at 5:30. Just let me save this file, Jasmine said, finishing up proposal for a new client. Actually, Trevor said, I was wondering if you'd like to grab dinner tonight instead of going straight home. There's this little Italian place I've been wanting to try, and I thought you might like it. Jasmine's heart fluttered. Are you asking me on a date? Trevor looked flustered. It's just dinner between friends, but if you want to call it a date, I wouldn't be opposed to that. Jasmine smiled at his nervousness. It was sweet to see this confident businessman stumbling over his words. I'd love to have dinner with you, Trevor. Date or not. Great, he said, his face lighting up. I'll make a reservation. The restaurant was small and intimate with checkered tablecloths and candles on every table. Trevor had chosen a corner booth that gave them privacy to talk without being overheard. This is lovely, Jasmine said, looking around at the cozy atmosphere. I'm glad you like it, Trevor said. I've been wanting to come here for months, but I didn't want to eat alone. You don't have to eat alone anymore, Jasmine said softly. I'm happy to have dinner with you anytime. As they talked over their meal, Jasmine found herself learning more about Trevor's life before Sarah died. He had grown up in a small town outside the city, worked his way through college, and met Sarah when they were both young professionals just starting their careers. We were together for 8 years, Trevor said. Married for 5. She was my best friend, my partner, and everything. When she died, I didn't know how to exist without her. I can't imagine losing someone that important. Jasmine said, How did you get through it? One day at a time, Trevor said. Some days I didn't think I could make it, but I kept going because I knew she would want me to. She always said life was too precious to waste on sadness. She sounded like an amazing person. She was, Trevor said, and she would have loved you. She always had a soft spot for people who were rebuilding their lives. Jasmine felt a pang of something, not jealousy exactly, but a wistfulness that she would never get to meet the woman who had been so important to Trevor. What about you? Trevor asked. Tell me about your marriage. What went wrong? Jasmine sighed. I married Ryan when I was 25. I thought I was so smart, so mature. But looking back, I think I was just lonely and scared of being alone. What was he like? Controlling. Jasmine said he wanted me to be the perfect wife. Always agreeable, always supportive, never having opinions of my own. He criticized everything I did, from my cooking to my career to the way I dressed. That sounds terrible, Trevor said. It was, Jasmine agreed. But I didn't realize how bad it was until it was over. I thought that's what marriage was supposed to be like. I thought I was supposed to make myself smaller to make him feel bigger. You should never have to make yourself smaller for anyone, Trevor said firmly. You're amazing just as you are. Jasmine felt tears prick her eyes. Thank you for saying that. I mean it, Trevor said. You're smart, talented, kind, and beautiful. Anyone who can't see that doesn't deserve you. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, both lost in their own thoughts. Finally, Trevor reached across the table and took her hand. I know we're both scared, he said. I know we both have reasons to be careful about getting involved with someone new. But I want you to know that I care about you, Jasmine, more than I should probably, considering you work for me. I care about you too, Jasmine said, squeezing his hand. But you're right. We should be careful. I don't want to mess up the good thing we have. What if we could have both? Trevor asked, what if we could be careful and still see where this goes? Jasmine looked into his eyes and saw the same hope and fear that she felt. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we take things slow, Trevor said. No pressure, no expectations. Just see what happens. I'd like that, Jasmine said. After dinner, they walked through the city streets talking and laughing like old friends. When they reached a small park, Trevor suggested they sit on a bench and watch the stars. It's beautiful out here, Jasmine said, leaning back against the bench. It is, Trevor agreed, but he was looking at her instead of the sky. What? Jasmine asked, noticing his gaze. Nothing, Trevor said. I haven't felt this happy in a long time. Me neither, Jasmine said. They sat in comfortable silence, enjoying each other's company and the peaceful evening. When Trevor finally walked her to his car, Jasmine felt like something had shifted between them. They were still friends, still employer and employee, but now they were something more, too. "Thank you for tonight," Jasmine said as they pulled into Trevor's driveway. "Thank you for saying yes," Trevor replied. As they walked up to the front door, Jasmine felt nervous butterflies in her stomach. Would Trevor try to kiss her? Did she want him to? The answer to the second question was definitely yes, but she wasn't sure about the first. Trevor unlocked the door and held it open for her. As she walked past him, he caught her hand gently. "Jasmine," he said softly. She turned to face him, and he stepped closer. "I know we said we'd take things slow, but I'd really like to kiss you right now." "I'd like that, too," Jasmine whispered. Trevor cooped her face gently in his hands and leaned down to kiss her. It was soft and sweet and perfect, full of promise and possibility. When they finally pulled apart, Jasmine felt like her heart might burst with happiness. "Wow," she breathed. "Yeah," Trevor agreed, resting his forehead against hers. "Wow." As they said goodnight and went to their separate rooms, Jasmine felt like she was floating. She had thought her life was over when her marriage ended. But maybe it was just beginning. Maybe losing everything had been necessary to make room for something better. Maybe Trevor was at something better. Everything was going perfectly until the Tuesday morning when Ryan showed up at Sterling Communications. Jasmine was in her office working on a presentation for a new client when she heard a familiar voice in the lobby. "I'm here to see Jasmine Thompson," Ryan was saying to the receptionist. "I'm her husband." Jasmine's blood ran cold. She could hear the receptionist explaining that visitors needed appointments. But Ryan was being persistent and loud. She stood up from her desk and walked to her office door, dreading what she might see. There he was, standing in the lobby in his expensive suit, looking exactly the same as he had on the day their divorce was finalized. Tall, handsome, and arrogant, with the same smug expression that had made her feel so small during their marriage. "Ryan," she said, stepping out of her office. "What are you doing here?" "There's my beautiful wife," Ryan said with a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I came to talk to you, ex-wife," Jasmine corrected. "And I'm at work. You can't just show up here." "I can go anywhere I want," Ryan said. "We need to talk, Jasmine, privately." Lisa appeared at Jasmine's side, clearly having heard the commotion. "Is everything okay?" "It's fine," Jasmine said quickly, not wanting to cause a scene at work. "Ryan, you need to leave." "I'm not leaving until we talk," Ryan said. "I have something important to tell you." Trevor's office door opened and he stepped out, taking in the situation with sharp eyes. "Is there a problem here?" "Who's this?" Ryan asked, looking Trevor up and down with obvious disdain. "This is my boss, Trevor Sterling," Jasmine said. "Trevor, this is my ex-husband, Ryan." "Mr. Thompson," Trevor said coolly, "I'm going to have to ask you to leave. This is a place of business, and you're disturbing our employees." "I'm not going anywhere until I talk to my wife," Ryan said, his voice getting louder. "She's not your wife anymore," Trevor said, stepping closer to Ryan, "and she's told you to leave. I suggest you do it before I call security." Ryan laughed. "Security? What are you going to do? Have me arrested for talking to my own wife?" "If necessary, yes," Trevor said calmly. "You're trespassing, and you're creating a disturbance. Leave now, or I'll have you removed." For a moment, Jasmine thought Ryan might actually try to fight Trevor. His face was red with anger, and his hands were clenched into fists. But then he seemed to remember where he was and who might be watching. "Fine," Ryan said. "But this isn't over, Jasmine. We still need to talk." "We have nothing to talk about," Jasmine said, trying to keep her voice steady. "The divorce is final, Ryan. It's over." "No, it's not," Ryan said. "Things have changed. I've changed. I want you back." Jasmine felt like she might throw up. "That's not happening." "We'll see about that," Ryan said, giving Trevor one last hostile look before walking toward the elevator. After he left, the lobby was silent except for the sound of Jasmine's heart pounding in her ears. She realized she was shaking and wrapped her arms around herself. "Are you okay?" Trevor asked, his voice gentle now. "I'm fine," Jasmine said, though she clearly wasn't. "I'm sorry about that. I had no idea he would show up here." "You don't need to apologize," Trevor said. "Let's go to my office and talk." Once they were alone in Trevor's office with the door closed, Jasmine finally let herself fall apart. She sat in the chair across from his desk and put her head in her hands. "I can't believe he came here," she said. "I can't believe he said he wants me back." "Has he contacted you before?" Trevor asked, sitting on the edge of his desk. "No," Jasmine said. "I haven't heard from him since the divorce was finalized. I thought he was happy with his new girlfriend. What do you think changed?" Jasmine looked up at Trevor, and she could see the concern in his eyes. "I don't know, but knowing Ryan, it's probably something selfish. He doesn't actually want me back. He just wants to win." "Win what, the game?" Jasmine said everything was always a game to Ryan. He probably found out I was doing well, and he can't stand that I'm happy without him. Trevor was quiet for a moment. "Are you afraid of him?" "Not physically," Jasmine said, "but emotionally, yes. He has a way of making me feel like I'm crazy, like I'm the problem. He's very good at manipulation." "He can't hurt you anymore," Trevor said firmly. "You're not the same person you were when you were married to him." "I hope not," Jasmine said. "But just seeing him brought back all those old feelings, the doubt, the fear, the sense that I'm not good enough." "You are good enough," Trevor said. "You're more than good enough. And you don't owe him anything. Not your time, not your attention, and certainly not a second chance." "I know that in my head," Jasmine said, "but Ryan has a way of making me forget what I know." "Then we'll have to make sure he doesn't get the chance," Trevor said. "I'm going to call our security company and have them add you to the protected list. He won't be able to get into the building again." "You don't have to do that," Jasmine said. "Yes, I do," Trevor said. "You're my employee, and it's my job to keep you safe at work. But more than that, you're important to me, and I won't let anyone hurt you." The way he said it made Jasmine's heart skip a beat. "Trevor, I mean it," he said. "Whatever is happening between us, whatever we're building together, I won't let him destroy it." "What if he doesn't give up?" Jasmine asked. "What if he keeps trying to contact me?" "Then we'll deal with it," Trevor said together. "You're not alone anymore, Jasmine." For the rest of the day, Jasmine tried to focus on her work, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Ryan's appearance was just beginning. She knew her ex-husband well enough to know that he didn't give up easily, especially when his ego was involved. That evening, as she and Trevor drove home together, she found herself looking in the side mirror to make sure they weren't being followed. "He's not there," Trevor said, noticing her nervousness. "How do you know?" "Because I've been watching too," Trevor admitted. "I don't trust him." "I'm sorry you got dragged into this," Jasmine said. "This is my mess to deal with." "It's not a mess," Trevor said. "And it's not just your problem anymore. We're in this together, remember?" As they pulled into Trevor's driveway, Jasmine felt a mixture of gratitude and fear. She was grateful to have Trevor's support, but she was afraid of what Ryan might do next. She knew her ex-husband well enough to know that he wouldn't give up easily. "What are you thinking?" Trevor asked as they sat in the car. "I'm thinking that I should probably find my own place," Jasmine said. "I don't want to put you in danger." "You're not putting me in danger," Trevor said. "And you're not going anywhere. We'll figure this out together." "But what if he—" "Jasmine," Trevor said, taking her hand. "I meant what I said earlier. I won't let anyone hurt you. That includes making you feel like you have to handle this alone." As they went inside, Jasmine felt both protected and terrified. She was grateful for Trevor's support, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Ryan's return was going to complicate everything. She had finally found happiness, finally found someone who cared about her and respected her. She wouldn't let Ryan destroy that, but she was afraid he might try. The next morning, Jasmine woke up to find Trevor already gone. There was a note on the kitchen counter. "Had to go in early to handle some security arrangements. See you at the office." When she arrived at work, she found that Trevor had been busy. There was a new security guard in the lobby, and the receptionist explained that new visitor procedures had been put in place. "All visitors now need to be pre-approved," the receptionist said. Mr. Sterling left specific instructions that Ryan Thompson is not to be allowed in the building under any circumstances. Jasmine felt a mixture of relief and guilt. She was grateful for Trevor's protection, but she hated that her personal problems were affecting the workplace. "Is Mr. Sterling in yet?" she asked. "He's in his office," the receptionist said. "He asked me to let him know when you arrived." Jasmine made her way to Trevor's office and knocked on the door. "Come in," Trevor called. She found him on the phone, but he quickly wrapped up the call when he saw her. "Good morning," he said, standing up to give her a quick hug. "How are you feeling?" "Better," Jasmine said. "Thank you for all the security arrangements." "You didn't have to do that." "Yes, I did," Trevor said. "I won't have him harassing you at work." "What if he shows up at your house?" Jasmine asked. "I'm still staying there, remember?" "I thought about that," Trevor said. "I called security company last night, and they're installing cameras and an alarm system today. If Ryan shows up there, we'll know about it." Jasmine stared at him. "You're installing a security system because of me?" "I'm installing a security system because I want to keep you safe," Trevor said. "There's a difference, Trevor. This is too much. I can't let you spend all this money on me." "You're not letting me do anything," Trevor said firmly. "I'm choosing to do this because I care about you and because I can afford to. Don't make me feel bad for wanting to protect you." Jasmine felt tears in her eyes. "I'm not used to someone caring about me this much." "Well, you'd better get used to it," Trevor said with a soft smile, "because I'm not going anywhere." Just then, Lisa knocked on the door. "Sorry to interrupt, but we have a problem." "What's wrong?" Trevor asked. "Ryan Thompson is in the parking garage," Lisa said. "He's not in the building, but he's standing by Jasmine's car." Trevor's face hardened. "Call the police." "Trevor." "No," Jasmine said quickly. "That'll just make things worse." "He's harassing you," Trevor said. "He can't be on our property." "Let me go talk to him," Jasmine said. "Maybe if I explain that I'm happy and moving on, he'll leave me alone." "Absolutely not," Trevor said. "I'm not letting you go down there alone." "Then come with me," Jasmine said. "But please don't call the police yet. Let me try to handle this first." Trevor looked like he wanted to argue, but he could see the determination in Jasmine's eyes. "Fine, but if he so much as raises his voice, I'm calling the police." They took the elevator down to the parking garage, and Jasmine's heart sank when she saw Ryan leaning against her car. He was wearing his most expensive suit and his most charming smile, but she could see the anger in his eyes. "There she is," Ryan said as they approached. "My beautiful wife." "What do you want?" "Ryan," Jasmine asked, staying close to Trevor. "I want to talk to you," Ryan said. "Alone." "That's not happening," Trevor said. "I wasn't talking to you," Ryan said, his smile faltering. "This is between me and my wife." "Ex-wife," Jasmine corrected. "And whatever you have to say, you can say it in front of Trevor." Ryan's expression turned ugly. "Fine, I'll make this simple. I made a mistake. Jasmine, I want you back." "No," Jasmine said without hesitation. "I'm not interested." "Don't be hasty," Ryan said. "I know you're angry and you have every right to be, but I've changed. I've been going to therapy, working on myself. I realize now how much I hurt you, and I want to make it right." "You can't make it right," Jasmine said. "Some things can't be fixed, Ryan. Everything can be fixed if you want it badly enough." Ryan said, "I love you, Jasmine. I always have." "No, you don't." Jasmine said, "You love the idea of winning. You love the idea of controlling me. But you don't love me." "That's not true," Ryan said, his voice getting louder. "I know I wasn't the best husband, but I can do better. I can be better." "I don't want you to be better," Jasmine said. "I want you to leave me alone." "You don't mean that," Ryan said. "You're just saying that because he's here." He gestured dismissively at Trevor. "What is he anyway? Your boss, your landlord, your rebound guy?" "He's my friend," Jasmine said. "He's someone who actually cares about me." "I care about you," Ryan said. "I'm here, aren't I? I'm trying to win you back." "You're here because your ego can't handle the fact that I'm happy without you," Jasmine said, This isn't about love, Ryan. It's about control. That's ridiculous, Ryan said. I'm here because I realized I made the biggest mistake of my life when I let you go. You didn't let me go. Jasmine said, you threw me away. You took everything I had and left me with nothing. I can give it all back. Ryan said desperately, the house, the money, everything, we can start over. I don't want to start over with you, Jasmine said. I won't move forward without you. With him? Ryan asked, glaring at Trevor. With whoever I choose, Jasmine said. That's not your decision to make anymore. I think this conversation is over, Trevor said, stepping forward. I don't think so, Ryan said. Jasmine, you need to really think about this. You're throwing away a 5-year marriage for what? A rebound relationship with your boss. I'm not throwing anything away, Jasmine said. I'm choosing to be happy. You were happy with me, Ryan said. No, I wasn't, Jasmine said. I was miserable with you. I was scared and small and constantly walking on eggshells. I'm not doing that anymore. So, that's it. Ryan asked, you're just going to give up on us? There is no us, Jasmine said. There hasn't been for a long time. Ryan stared at her for a long moment, and Jasmine could see the exact moment when his hurt turned to anger. You will regret this, he said quietly. You'll realize what you've lost, and you'll come crawling back. And maybe I won't be there when you do. I'm counting on it, Jasmine said. Ryan's face turned red with rage. Fine, but don't expect me to make things easy for you. I know people in this city. Jasmine, I can make your life very difficult. Is that a threat? Trevor asked, his voice dangerously quiet. It's a promise, Ryan said. You have no idea who you're dealing with. Actually, I do, Trevor said. I know exactly who you are. Ryan, you're a small, insecure man who can't handle being rejected. You're pathetic. For a moment, Jasmine thought Ryan might actually hit Trevor. His fists were clenched, and she could see the rage in his eyes. You don't know anything about me, Ryan said. I know enough, Trevor said. I know you're a coward who threatens women and hides behind lawyers. I know you're a bully who can't stand it when people don't do what you want. And I know you're about to leave and never come back. Or what? Ryan asked. Or I'll call the police and have you arrested for harassment, Trevor said. And then I'll call my lawyer and have you charged with trespassing and making threats. How do you think that will look to your colleagues? Ryan stared at Trevor for a long moment, clearly weighing his options. Finally, he straightened his tie and forced a smile. This isn't over, he said to Jasmine. I'll be in touch. No, you won't, Trevor said. If you contact her again, I'll have you arrested. If you come to her workplace again, I'll have you arrested. If you show up at my house, I'll have you arrested. Are we clear? Ryan didn't answer. He just turned and walked away, his footsteps echoing in the parking garage. Jasmine watched him go, feeling a mixture of relief and dread. She was glad he was gone, but she knew this wasn't the end of it. Ryan didn't give up easily, and she had a feeling this was just the beginning. Are you okay? Trevor asked, putting his arm around her shoulders. I think so, Jasmine said. Thank you for standing up for me. Always, Trevor said. Are you ready to go back upstairs? Yeah, Jasmine said. Let's go back to work. As they walked toward the elevator, Jasmine felt grateful for Trevor's protection, but she couldn't shake the feeling that Ryan's threats weren't empty. She knew her ex-husband well enough to know that he would find a way to cause trouble. She just hoped she and Trevor were ready for whatever came next. 2 weeks after Ryan's confrontation in the parking garage, Jasmine had almost managed to convince herself that he had given up. There had been no more visits, no phone calls, no attempts to contact her. She was starting to feel like maybe Trevor's protective measures had worked. Then, on a busy Thursday morning, everything fell apart. We have a problem, Lisa said, bursting into the conference room where Jasmine and Trevor were reviewing client proposals. A big problem. What's wrong? Trevor asked, looking up from his laptop. Henderson Marketing just stole the Riverside Restaurant Group account, Lisa said. They're pulling out of their contract with us. Effective immediately. Trevor's face went white. What? That's impossible. We have a signed contract with them through the end of the year. They're claiming breach of contract. Lisa said, they say we failed to deliver the results we promised. That's ridiculous. Jasmine said, we increased their revenue by 35% in the last quarter alone. I know, Lisa said, but they're not interested in hearing our side of the story. They want out, and they're willing to pay the penalty fees. Trevor stood up and started pacing. The Riverside Group is our biggest client. They represent 40% of our revenue. If we lose them, we'll be in serious trouble, Lisa finished. We might have to lay people off. Jasmine's mind was racing. This doesn't make sense. Why would they suddenly decide to leave when we've been getting such good results for them? I don't know, Lisa said. But get this, Henderson Marketing is offering them a deal that's 30% less than what we're charging. How is that possible? Trevor asked. Nobody can provide quality service at that price. Unless they're planning to cut corners, Jasmine said. Or unless someone is subsidizing the deal. Trevor stopped pacing and looked at her. What do you mean? I mean, what if someone is paying Henderson Marketing to lowball us? Jasmine said, what if this isn't about business at all? You think this is connected to Ryan? Trevor asked. I don't know, Jasmine said, but the timing is awfully convenient. He threatens to make my life difficult. And 2 weeks later, our biggest client suddenly leaves us for a competitor. That's a pretty serious accusation, Lisa said. Do you have any proof? No, Jasmine admitted, but I know how Ryan operates. He's vindictive and he has connections in the business world. If he wanted to hurt me, going after my employer will be exactly the kind of thing he'd do. Trevor pulled out his phone. I'm calling David Henderson. I want to hear his explanation for this deal. Trevor dialed a number and put the phone on speaker. After a few rings, David Henderson's voice came through. Trevor, I was wondering when you'd call. David, what the hell is going on? Trevor said, you just stole one of my biggest clients. I didn't steal anything. David said, they came to me. They said they were unhappy with your service and wanted to make a change. They were getting great results with us. Trevor said their revenue is up 35% since we started working with them. Maybe they wanted even better results. David said, look, Trevor, this is just business, nothing personal. How are you able to offer them such a low price? Trevor asked. Your overhead is higher than mine. I found a way to cut costs, David said vaguely. Sometimes you have to be creative to win accounts. Are you being subsidized? Trevor asked directly. There was a pause. I don't know what you mean. I mean, is someone else paying part of your costs so you're going to cut me? That's ridiculous, David said, but his voice sounded uncomfortable. Why would anyone do that? That's what I'd like to know, Trevor said. David, we've known each other for years. If someone is manipulating you into this deal, you need to tell me. Nobody's manipulating me, David said. I saw an opportunity and I took it. That's how business works. Not like this, Trevor said. This deal doesn't make sense, David. You're going to lose money on it. That's my problem to worry about, David said. I have to go. Trevor, good luck with your other clients. The line went dead. He's lying, Trevor said. I can hear it in his voice. So what do we do? Lisa asked. We fight, Jasmine said. We find out who's really behind this and we expose them. How? Trevor asked. Leave that to me, Jasmine said. I have an idea. That evening, Jasmine called her friend Michelle, who worked as a paralegal at a law firm that specialized in business litigation. I need a favor, Jasmine said. I need you to help me find out who's financing a deal. What kind of deal? Michelle asked. Jasmine explained the situation with Henderson Marketing and the Riverside Restaurant Group. You think your ex-husband is behind this? Michelle asked. I think it's possible, Jasmine said. He has the money and the connections to make something like this happen. Even if he is, that's not necessarily illegal. Michelle said, people are allowed to finance business deals, but if he's doing it specifically to hurt me and my employer, that could be tortious interference with a business relationship. Jasmine said, you've been studying, Michelle said with a laugh. All right, I'll see what I can find out, but I'll need some time. How much time? Give me a week. Michelle said. I'll call in some favors and see what I can dig up. While they waited for Michelle's investigation, Jasmine threw herself into damage control. She reached out to their other clients to reassure them about the company's stability, worked on proposals for new accounts, and helped Trevor figure out how to restructure their finances if they couldn't replace the lost revenue. You don't have to do this, Trevor said one evening as they worked late in the office. This isn't your fault. It is if Ryan is behind it, Jasmine said. And even if he's not, I'm part of this team now. We succeed or fail together. I don't deserve you, Trevor said softly. Yes, you do, Jasmine said. You deserve someone who will fight for you the way you fought for me. A week later, Michelle called with news. You were right, she said. Ryan Thompson is financing the Henderson marketing deal. He's paying 60% of their costs through a shell company. Can you prove it? Jasmine asked. I can prove the financial connection, Michelle said. But proving that his intent was to harm you specifically might be harder. We need evidence that he's doing this to get back at you personally. What kind of evidence? Jasmine asked. Emails, text messages, recorded conversations where he admits to trying to hurt your business, Michelle said. Something that shows malicious intent. Jasmine thought for a moment. What if I could get him to admit it? That would be perfect, Michelle said. But it would have to be recorded, and you'd have to be careful about entrapment laws. Let me talk to Trevor, Jasmine said. Thank you, Michelle. I owe you big time. Just be careful, Michelle said. If Ryan is willing to go this far to hurt you, there's no telling what else he might do. Jasmine hung up and went to find Trevor. He was in his office staring at financial projections on his computer screen. We have proof, she said, closing the door behind her. Trevor looked up. What kind of proof? Jasmine explained what Michelle had found. Ryan is paying for 60% of Henderson's costs through a shell company. He's subsidizing the deal specifically to undercut us. That son of a Trevor said. Can we take legal action? Maybe, Jasmine said. But we need proof that he's doing it specifically to hurt me, not just as a business investment. How do we get that proof? I call him, Jasmine said. I arrange to meet with him, and I get him to admit what he's doing. Absolutely not. Trevor said, I'm not letting you anywhere near him. It's the only way. Jasmine said he won't admit anything over the phone, but if I meet him in person and tell him I'm considering getting back together with him, he might brag about what he's done. It's too dangerous, Trevor said. What if he tries to hurt you? We'll meet in a public place, Jasmine said, and I'll wear a wire. You can be nearby listening to everything. Trevor shook his head. I don't like it. I don't like it either, Jasmine said. But our company is in trouble. Our employees might lose their jobs. We have to try. Trevor was quiet for a long moment, clearly struggling with the decision. If we do this, he said, finally, we do it my way. Public place, multiple exits, and I'm close enough to intervene if something goes wrong. Agreed, Jasmine said. That evening, Jasmine called Ryan from Trevor's house. Her hands were shaking as she dialed his number. Jasmine. Ryan's voice was surprised but pleased. I wasn't expecting to hear from you. Hi, Ryan, Jasmine said, trying to keep her voice neutral. I was wondering if we could meet for coffee tomorrow. There's something I want to discuss with you. Of course, Ryan said eagerly. What's this about? I'd rather talk in person, Jasmine said. How about that coffee shop on 5th Street? The one we used to go to. I'll be there, Ryan said. What time? 2 o'clock, Jasmine said. Jasmine, Ryan said, his voice hopeful. Does this mean you're reconsidering? I just want to talk, Jasmine said. I'll see you tomorrow. After she hung up, Trevor pulled her into his arms. Are you sure about this? No, Jasmine said honestly, but I'm sure about us. I'm sure about this company. I'm sure that Ryan can't be allowed to destroy everything good in my life. He won't, Trevor said. I won't let him. The next day, Jasmine sat in the coffee shop, wearing a small recording device that Michelle had borrowed from her law firm. Trevor was at a table across the room, pretending to read a newspaper, but keeping a close eye on her. Ryan arrived exactly on time, looking handsome and confident in his expensive suit. He ordered a coffee and sat down across from her with a smile. You look beautiful, he said. I've missed you. Thank you, Jasmine said. You look well, too. I've been taking care of myself, Ryan said. Going to gym, eating right, working on being the man you deserve. That's good to hear, Jasmine said. Ryan, I wanted to apologize for how harsh I was in the parking garage that day. Ryan's eyes lit up. You don't need to apologize. I understand why you were angry. I was hurt, Jasmine said. And when I'm hurt, I sometimes say things I don't mean. So, you've been thinking about us? Ryan asked hopefully. I have, Jasmine lied. It's been hard, Ryan. The divorce starting over everything. I know, Ryan said sympathetically. But it doesn't have to be hard anymore. We can fix this, Jasmine. We can be better than we were before. Can we? Jasmine asked. So much has changed. Not the important things, Ryan said. I still love you. You still love me even if you won't admit it. It's not that simple. Jasmine said, I'm working now trying to build a career. My job is important to me. You don't need to work. Ryan said, I can take care of you, but I like working. Jasmine said, I'm good at it. Ryan's expression darkened slightly. Is this about that boss of yours? Sterling. Trevor has been a good friend to me, Jasmine said carefully. Friend, Ryan scoffed. I know what kind of friend he is. What do you mean? I know what he's really after, Ryan said. Men like him don't help women, like you out of the goodness of their hearts. Trevor isn't like that, Jasmine said. Sure he is, Ryan said. They all are, but it doesn't matter anymore. Why not? Ryan leaned forward with a smug smile. Because his little company is about to go under. He won't be able to help you much when he's bankrupt. What are you talking about? Jasmine asked, trying to sound confused. Let's just say I have friends in the business world, Ryan said. Friends who owe me favors. You mean the Riverside Restaurant Group? Jasmine asked. Ryan looked surprised. How did you know about that? It's a small industry, Jasmine said. Word gets around when a big client switches agencies. Well, that's just the beginning, Ryan said, clearly proud of himself. I'm going to make sure Sterling Communications loses every major client they have. Why would you do that? Jasmine asked. Because I want you to see what kind of man he really is, Ryan said. When his business fails, when he can't afford to help you anymore, you'll see that he was just using you. But what if he wasn't using me? Jasmine asked. What if he really cares about me? Then he'll find a way to survive, Ryan said with a shrug. But men like Sterling don't really care about anyone but themselves. When things get tough, he'll throw you under the bus. And you wouldn't? Jasmine asked. I'd never hurt you. Ryan said, everything I'm doing is for us, Jasmine. To prove that we belong together by destroying innocent people's livelihoods. Jasmine asked. By showing you the truth, Ryan said. Sterling isn't the hero you think he is. When his company fails, when he can't afford to play the white knight anymore, you'll see him for what he really is. And what's that? A user, Ryan said. Someone who took advantage of you when you were vulnerable. Jasmine felt sick listening to him. So, you're admitting that you're sabotaging Trevor's business. I'm doing what I have to do to get my wife back, Ryan said. And it's working, isn't it? Here you're having coffee with me. Finally, ready to listen to reason. Actually, Jasmine said, standing up, I'm here because I want to confirm what kind of person you really are. Ryan's face changed. What do you mean? I want to hear you admit that you're willing to destroy innocent people's lives just to get what you want. Jasmine said, and you just did. Jasmine, wait. Ryan said, realizing his mistake. No, Jasmine said, I'm done waiting. I'm done listening to your lies and manipulation. And I'm done letting you hurt the people I care about. You recorded this conversation, didn't you? Ryan asked, his face turning red with anger. That would be telling, Jasmine said. But I will tell you this. If you continue to interfere with Sterling Communications or try to contact me again, you'll be hearing from our lawyers. You can't threaten me, Ryan said. Standing up, I'm not threatening you, Jasmine said. I'm promising you. Stay away from me, Ryan. Stay away from my friends, my job, and my life. We're done. As she walked away, Jasmine could hear Ryan calling her name, but she didn't look back. Trevor was beside her in an instant, walking her quickly out of the coffee shop. "Are you okay?" he asked once they were safely in his car. "I'm perfect," Jasmine said, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. "Did you hear all of that?" "Every word," Trevor said grimly. "He just confessed to tortious interference with our business relationships. So we can stop him. We can destroy him," Trevor said. "Michelle is going to love this recording." As they drove back to the office, Jasmine felt like a huge weight had been lifted from her shoulders. Ryan had finally shown his true colors, and now they had the evidence they needed to stop him. More importantly, she had faced her past and come out stronger. She wasn't the scared, powerless woman who had collapsed on the courthouse steps anymore. She was someone who could fight for what she believed in. She was someone who could fight for love. 1 month later, Sterling Communications had not only survived Ryan's sabotage, but was thriving. Armed with a recorded confession, Trevor's lawyers had not only stopped Ryan's interference, but had also secured a settlement that more than compensated for their lost revenue. The Riverside Restaurant Group, learning about Ryan's manipulation, had actually returned to Sterling Communications with an apology and an expanded contract. "I can't believe how well everything turned out," Jasmine said as she and Trevor worked late one evening finalizing a proposal for a major new client. Trevor said. "You fought for this company like it was your own. You put everything on the line to protect it. It felt like my own." Jasmine said this place, these people, they're my family now. Trevor looked at her with an expression she couldn't quite read. "Jasmine, can I ask you something?" "Of course. Are you happy here?" "I mean, really happy completely," Jasmine said without hesitation. "Why do you ask?" "Because I got a call today," Trevor said, "from Johnson & Associates in Chicago. They heard about your work on the Ryan situation, and they want to offer you a job." Jasmine's heart sank. "What kind of job?" "Senior Vice President of Crisis Management." Trevor said it's a huge opportunity. Jasmine. "Fortune 500 clients, international accounts, salary that's probably triple what I'm paying you. You think I should take it?" Jasmine asked quietly. "I think you should consider it," Trevor said. "This is the kind of opportunity that could set you up for life." "And what about us?" Jasmine asked. "What about what we've been building together?" Trevor was quiet for a long moment. "I care about you too much to hold you back from your dreams." "What if my dreams have changed?" Jasmine asked. "What if what I want now is in a big corner office in Chicago?" "What do you want?" Trevor asked softly. "I want this," Jasmine said, gesturing around the office. "I want to work with people I care about on projects that matter. I want to come home to someone who believes in me and supports me. I want to build something real with someone real." "Are you sure?" Trevor asked. "This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity." "So is this," Jasmine said, looking into his eyes. "So are we." Trevor stood up and walked around the desk to where she was sitting. "I love you," he said simply. "I love you too," Jasmine replied, standing up to meet him. "Then there's something I need to tell you," Trevor said. "I've been planning something, but I want to make sure you were really happy here first." "What kind of something?" "The kind of something that involves asking you a very important question," Trevor said with a smile. Jasmine's heart started racing. "Trevor, not here," he said quickly, "and not now. I want to do this right." "Do what right?" "You'll see," Trevor said, kissing her forehead. "But first, I need to make a few phone calls." Over the next week, Jasmine noticed that Trevor was acting strangely. He was secretive about his phone calls, disappeared from mysterious meetings, and seemed nervous but excited about something he wouldn't tell her about. "Is everything okay?" she asked him one morning as they drove to work. "Everything's perfect," Trevor said. "Why?" "You've been acting weird lately," Jasmine said. "Obsessive?" "I'm not being secretive," Trevor said unconvincingly. "I'm just planning something." "Planning what?" "If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise," Trevor said. "I don't like surprises," Jasmine said. "You'll like this one," Trevor promised. That Saturday, Trevor told Jasmine he was taking her out for a special dinner. "What's the occasion?" she asked as she got dressed. "Do I need an occasion to take my girlfriend out for a nice dinner?" Trevor replied. "No, But you usually tell me where we're going, Jasmine said. And you're wearing your best suit. I always dress nicely for you, Trevor said. This is your wedding suit, Jasmine said, recognizing it from photos of him and Sarah. Trevor paused in adjusting his tie. How do you know that? I've seen the pictures, Jasmine said gently. Are you sure you want to wear it? Sarah would want me to wear it for something important, Trevor said. She always said this suit made me look handsome. You do look handsome, Jasmine said, walking over to help with his tie. But what's so important about tonight? You'll see, Trevor said, kissing her softly. They drove to a restaurant Jasmine had never seen before. An elegant place on the top floor of a downtown hotel with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. This is beautiful, Jasmine said as they were seated at a table by the window. I'm glad you like it, Trevor said. I wanted tonight to be perfect. As they ate dinner, Jasmine noticed that Trevor seemed nervous. He kept checking his watch and looking around the restaurant like he was waiting for something. Trevor, what's wrong? She asked finally. Nothing's wrong, Trevor said. Everything's right. More right than I ever thought possible. Then why do you keep looking at your watch? Because Trevor started then stopped. Because I wanted to make sure we didn't miss the sunset. Jasmine looked out the window and saw that the sun was indeed setting, painting the sky in brilliant shades of orange and pink. It's gorgeous, she said. Not as gorgeous as you, Trevor said, and Jasmine could hear something in his voice that made her heart skip a beat. Trevor, she started. Jasmine, he said, standing up from his chair. 6 months ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd never love anyone again, never be happy again. I was just going through the motions, existing but not really living. What are you doing? Jasmine asked, though her heart was already racing because she thought she knew. Then I met you, Trevor continued, reaching into his pocket. You were broken and hurting just like I was, but you were also brave and strong and beautiful, even when you couldn't see it yourself. Trevor, Jasmine whispered as he dropped to one knee beside her chair. You changed my life, Jasmine, Trevor said, pulling out a small velvet box. You showed me how to live again, how to love again. You made me believe in second chances and new beginnings. Jasmine felt tears streaming down her face as Trevor opened the box to reveal a beautiful diamond ring. I know we haven't been together very long, Trevor said. I know this might seem fast, but I also know that I don't want to spend another day without knowing that you'll be in my life forever. Oh my God, Jasmine breathed. Jasmine Thompson, Trevor said, his voice shaking with emotion. Will you marry me? The restaurant had gone quiet around them, and Jasmine could see other diners watching with smiles on their faces. But all she could focus on was Trevor kneeling beside her with love and hope shining in his eyes. Yes, she whispered, then louder. Yes, of course. Yes. Trevor's face broke into the biggest smile she'd ever seen as he slipped the ring onto her finger. The restaurant erupted in applause as he stood up and kissed her, and Jasmine felt like her heart might burst with happiness. I love you so much, she said through her tears. I love you too, Trevor replied. Forever. As they held each other, looking out at the city lights beginning to twinkle below them, Jasmine thought about how far she'd come from that day on the courthouse steps. She had lost everything that day, but it had led her to this moment, to this man, to this perfect new beginning. Are you sure about this? She asked Trevor as they sat back down admiring her ring. I've never been more sure of anything, Trevor said. Are you completely? Jasmine said, but I have one question. What's that? When? Jasmine asked with a grin. Whenever you want, Trevor said. Tomorrow, next month, next year. I just want to be your husband. How about next spring? Jasmine suggested. That gives us time to plan something perfect. Next spring sounds perfect, Trevor agreed. As they left the restaurant, hand in hand with Jasmine's new ring sparkling in the city lights, she felt like she was walking into the brightest future she could imagine. The woman who had collapsed in despair on the courthouse steps was gone. In her place was someone stronger, someone loved, someone ready to build a beautiful life with a man who would save her in every way that mattered. She couldn't wait to call him her husband. The accident happened on a rainy Tuesday morning in March, just 2 months before their planned wedding. Jasmine was running late for an important client meeting when she slipped on the wet marble steps outside their office building. One moment she was hurrying up the stairs, and the next moment she was falling backward, her head hitting the sharp edge of a step with a sickening crack. Trevor, who had been walking behind her with coffee for both of them, watched in horror as the woman he loved collapsed unconscious on the steps. The coffee cup shattered on the ground as he dropped everything and ran to her side. "Jasmine, Jasmine, can you hear me?" he called, kneeling beside her still form. Blood was seeping from a gash on the back of her head, and she wasn't responding to his voice. "Somebody call 911. Trevor shouted to the gathering crowd. His hands were shaking as he gently touched her face, afraid to move her, but desperate to help her somehow. The ambulance arrived within minutes, but it felt like hours to Trevor. He rode with Jasmine to the hospital, holding her hand and talking to her, even though she couldn't hear him. "You're going to be okay," he whispered. "You have to be okay. I can't lose you now. Not when we're so close to forever." At the emergency room, the doctors whisked Jasmine away for CT scans and x-rays while Trevor was left alone in the waiting room. He called Lisa to cancel all their meetings for the day, but he couldn't bring himself to call anyone else. He didn't want to say the words out loud that Jasmine was hurt, that she might not be okay. "Are you the husband?" a doctor asked, approaching Trevor in the waiting room. "I'm her fiancé," Trevor said, standing up quickly. "How is she?" "She has a severe concussion and needed stitches for the laceration on her head," the doctor said. "We're going to keep her overnight for observation, but her scans look good. No skull fracture, no brain bleeding." "Thank God," Trevor breathed. "Can I see her?" "She's still unconscious, but yes, you can see her. Room 314. Trevor hurried to Jasmine's room and found her lying in the hospital bed, looking small and pale against the white sheets. Her head was bandaged, and she had monitors attached to her chest and finger, but she was breathing steadily, and that was all that mattered to him. "Hi, beautiful," he said softly, taking the chair beside her bed. "You scared me there for a minute." He took her hand in his and squeezed gently. "The doctor says you're going to be fine. You just need to rest and let that hard head of yours heal." Hours passed with no change. Trevor held Jasmine's hand, talked to her about their wedding plans, about the honeymoon they were planning, about the house they wanted to buy together. He told her about the client meeting she had missed, about how Lisa was handling everything at the office, about how much everyone was worried about her. "You know," Trevor said as evening approached, "I was thinking about what Sarah used to say about accidents happening for a reason. I never believed her before, but maybe she was right. Maybe this happened to remind us how precious what we have is." A nurse came in to check Jasmine's vitals and gave Trevor a sympathetic smile. "You should go home and get some rest," she said. "She'll probably sleep through the night." "I'm not going anywhere," Trevor said firmly. "I'll sleep in this chair if I have to." "Sir, visiting hours end at 9 o'clock, the nurse said gently. "I'm not visiting," Trevor said. "I'm staying with my wife." The word had slipped out without him thinking about it, but he didn't correct himself. In his heart, Jasmine was already his wife. The wedding was just a formality. "Are you married?" the nurse asked. Trevor hesitated. He knew he should correct the misunderstanding, but the thought of being asked to leave Jasmine alone was unbearable. "Yes," he said quietly. "We're married." "In that case, you can stay," the nurse said, "but try to get some rest yourself. She'll need you to be strong when she wakes up around midnight." Trevor dozed off in the uncomfortable chair, his hand still holding Jasmine's. He was awakened a few hours later by the sound of voices in the hallway. "How is she doing?" someone was asking. "She's stable," came the nurse's reply. "Her husband has been with her all night. He's very devoted." Her husband, Trevor, recognized the voice. It was Dr. Williams, the doctor who had treated Jasmine when she first arrived. "Yes, he's been here since she was admitted." The nurse said he's barely left her side. Trevor felt a pang of guilt for the deception, but he pushed it aside. He wasn't going to leave Jasmine, no matter what he had to tell the hospital staff. As dawn broke through the hospital room window, Trevor was startled by a soft sound from the bed. He looked over to see Jasmine's eyes fluttering open. "Jasmine," he said softly, leaning forward. "Can you hear me, Trevor?" she whispered, her voix shallow and confused. "What happened?" "You fell down the steps at the office," Trevor said, relief flooding through him. "You hit your head pretty hard, but you're going to be okay." "My head hurts," Jasmine said, trying to sit up. "Don't move," Trevor said gently, helping her lie back down. "You need to rest." "How long have I been here?" she asked. "Since yesterday morning," Trevor said. "About 18 hours. "Have you been here the whole time?" "Of course," Trevor said. "Where else would I be?" Jasmine squeezed his hand. "I love you. I love you, too," Trevor said, kissing her forehead gently. A few minutes later, Dr. Williams came in to check on Jasmine. "Good morning," he said with a smile. "How are you feeling?" "Like I got hit by a truck," Jasmine said. "That's normal with a concussion," the doctor said, checking her pupils with a small flashlight. "Your husband here has been very worried about you." Jasmine looked confused. "My husband?" Trevor felt his face flush. I can explain." "You told him we're married?" Jasmine asked. "I'm sorry," Trevor said quickly. I couldn't bear the thought of them making me leave you alone. I know it was wrong, but I had to stay with you." The doctor looked uncomfortable. "I'm sorry, I didn't realize. I'll update your records." "No," Jasmine said suddenly, reaching for Trevor's hand. "Don't update anything, Jasmine." Trevor said confused. "He is my husband," Jasmine said, looking directly at Trevor. "In every way that matters. A piece of paper doesn't change how much we love each other." "But we're not actually married yet," Trevor said. "Then let's fix that," Jasmine said with a weak smile. "Today, you have a concussion," Trevor said. "You're not thinking clearly." "I'm thinking perfectly clearly," Jasmine said. "I don't want to wait until spring." "Trevor, I don't want to wait another day. I want to be your wife, and I want you to be my husband, and I want it to be official." "You want to get married in a hospital?" Trevor asked. "I want to get married to you," Jasmine said. "I don't care where we do it." Trevor looked at her lying there in the hospital bed, her head bandaged, but her eyes bright with love and determination. And he realized she was absolutely right. They had wasted enough time, been through enough obstacles. "Why? Wait, are you sure?" he asked. "I've never been more sure of anything," Jasmine said. "But only if you want to." "I want to," Trevor said, his voice thick with emotion. "God, I want to marry you right now." "Then let's do it," Jasmine said. Trevor kissed her hand and stood up. "I'll be right back. I'm going to make some phone calls." 3 hours later, Jasmine was sitting up in her hospital bed, wearing a white dress that Lisa had rushed out to buy. Trevor stood beside her in his best suit, holding her hand as a hospital chaplain performed a simple but beautiful ceremony. Lisa and a few of their co-workers served as witnesses, and the nursing staff had even brought flowers from the hospital gift shop. It wasn't the elaborate spring wedding they had planned, but it was perfect in its own way. "Do you, Trevor Michael Sterling, take Jasmine Rose Thompson to be your lawfully wedded wife?" the chaplain asked. "I do," Trevor said, his voice steady and sure. "Do you, Jasmine Rose Thompson, take Trevor Michael Sterling to be your lawfully wedded husband?" "I do," Jasmine said, tears of joy streaming down her face. "Then, by the power vested in me, I now pronounce you husband and wife," the chaplain said. "You may kiss the bride." Trevor leaned down and kissed Jasmine gently, mindful of her injury, but unable to contain his happiness. Around them, their friends applauded and cheered. "Mrs. Sterling," Trevor said softly against her lips. "Mr. Sterling," Jasmine replied with a radiant smile. As their friends congratulated them and the nurses fussed over the new bride, Trevor marveled at how perfect the moment was. Not because everything had gone according to plan. Nothing about their relationship had gone according to plan, but because they were together officially and forever. "No regrets?" he asked Jasmine as the excitement died down and they were alone again. "Only one," she said. "What's that?" "I regret waiting this long," Jasmine said. "I should have said yes to marrying you in the hospital the day we met." Trevor laughed. "We barely knew each other then. My heart knew." Jasmine said, "From the moment you helped me up off those courthouse steps, my heart knew you were the one." "Mine, too," Trevor admitted. "I try to tell myself I was just helping a stranger, but the truth is I fell in love with you that first day." "Good thing," Jasmine said with a grin, "because now you're stuck with me forever." "Forever sounds perfect," Trevor said, settling back into the chair beside her bed. Mrs. Sterling. As Jasmine drifted off to sleep, her hand securely held in her new husband's, she thought about the journey that had brought them to this moment. She had collapsed on courthouse steps as a broken, divorced woman with nothing left to lose. She was leaving the hospital as a married woman with everything to live for. Sometimes the worst day of your life was really just the first day of your new life. Sometimes losing everything was the only way to find what you were really looking for. And sometimes the man who called you his wife in a moment of crisis was the same man who would love you for the rest of your life. Trevor had saved her in every way a person could be saved. And now finally, officially, joyfully, she was his wife. Dear readers, thank you so much for joining me on Jasmine and Trevor's incredible journey from heartbreak to happiness. I hope their story reminded you that sometimes our lowest moments are just clearing the way for our greatest blessings. I'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and let me know what was your favorite moment in the story. Did you guess that Trevor would claim Jasmine as his wife at the hospital? What do you think their future holds? Have you ever experienced a moment where losing everything led to finding something better? Your comments and engagement mean the world to me, and I read every single one. Don't forget to like this story if it touched your heart and helps me know what kind of stories you want to see more.